Welcome. You are listening to the Cornerstone Life podcast. We hope as you listen to these conversations, you leave encouraged that God sees you and is at work in your life. Okay, we are back at Cornerstone Life podcast, part 2, with Pastor Hunter and Pastor Timber, our youth pastors here at Cornerstone Church. I'm Julia. Me and my husband are children's pastors here at Cornerstone. And so the last episode, we talked about your love story, how they met each other at youth, fell in love kind of at youth.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Serving.
Yeah. So you make sure, if you haven't listened to part 1 of this, part 2 podcast, go listen to it because there's some fun stories in there. It's really cool. Really cool, their story and how God has brought them together. And so we're going to just talk a little bit more about youth ministry. So my first question to you guys is, did you ever think you would be youth pastors?
No.
Absolutely not.
Was it when did it become a desire? Was it just an opportunity and then the Lord just downloaded? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah.
It's definitely an opportunity
that turned into desire and love for it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So
never something that we both.
No. Patrick and Raquel, they got called to, what was their position?
Connections pastors.
Yeah, Connections.
Yeah, they were the former
pastor.
youth pastors.
Yeah.
So they were transitioning out, and we were their second in command, I guess.
Yeah, their shadow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were like, hey, we want to give you the youth ministry. No pressure. You don't have to take it. And I was like, if I don't say yes to it, will I want to be under another youth pastor while still being friends with Patrick? And I just kept thinking about that dynamic. Would that work? Because again, I have a heart for youth.
I don't think you mean it like that.
That's what I'm saying. I have a heart for youth, and I wanted to serve, but it was I just felt like it would be weird. So I was like, Lord, if this is you, I want to have peace about saying yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I think we just
He gave us peace. He gave me peace, but I think you were really on the fence about it at first.
Yeah. I think we just had such incredible leaders, honestly. And I think that's what was hard about the idea of no longer having them over us.
Right.
Hunter really kind of struggled with that. Me, not so much, because I was just because the Lord is calling them out doesn't mean that he's calling us out.
Right.
So I just want to make sure we're really obedient and just even serving.
Right. Well, you guys did serve, even you guys didn't have to serve. I even remember when you had Shepherd, you were even going to be back serving really, really quick.
I brought him with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
he came with us. When I started coming back after having him, we were just serving.
Yeah.
And Shepherd came every Wednesday with us. So sweet. Yeah, but for me.
Birdie still comes.
Yeah. Birdie, she comes with us. For me, it was never an option, I guess, to say. Ministry, I guess, kind of my family, it just wasn't an option to be in ministry, I guess. Not because nobody believed in it, but because it was nobody in my family had ever done that.
Yeah.
And so it was what?
Yeah.
And when they had brought us talked to us about taking the position, they had said, they were Hunter, we know you're full time, so we know you couldn't actually take over. We've actually proposed that Timber take the position. And that's when I was what? No.
Yeah, because you're a new mom.
I'm a new mom.
I had a newborn.
Zero experience in ministry.
Yeah.
Zero, besides my serving.
Yeah.
I'd always just served under people. I'd never actually been the boss, so to say, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, I had people that served with me and whatnot, that I led, but I said, it was just kind of scary and really foreign for me. And so I kind of went home and me and Hunter discussed it, and I was no. basically I was like,
Yeah, that was the part I think I struggled with the most too. Is
he did.
because I was wanting to be in ministry like full time, and I think it was too much of a desire, and I just felt like the Lord kept questioning me, like, do you want the title or do you want the actual influence?
Yeah. And so I mean, it wasn't like a stressful part in our marriage, I wouldn't say, but I think for a while Hunter like even was kind of like why is she being offered it and not me, you know? And so like that was also something we kind of had to like work through a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I completely was like, I don't want the job. I told Hunter, I was like, I don't want to do it. I said, I'm not qualified. I don't know enough. I mean, I just kept listing off things. I'm like, I can't do it. Like, I'm like, somebody else knows
Like
more
Moses.
than me. Yeah. I'm like, somebody else knows more than me. Somebody else can do it better. Somebody else can do it.
Yeah.
And Hunter just kept saying, he's like, no, like, I think you're supposed to do it.
Yeah.
And I was like, no. And I wanted to say no.
Yeah.
But we had so much support, and we even had a conversation. I don't remember if it was like both of us or if it was just me actually with Patrick and Raquel. I don't remember who the conversation was with exactly, but I remember expressing my like heart of like, I'm not qualified, I don't know enough, like I'm not equipped. And I just remember Patrick actually telling me, he's like, we would not have said, like, told the elders and told Pastor Sean and Lisa, like, that we wanted you guys to take over if we did not believe that you weren't equipped, that you guys were not qualified. He's like, we believe in you. And that is the reason, like, we, like, said, like, Hunter and Timber are perfect to take it over. And then, like, Hunter continued to just encourage me. He's like, Timber, you are going to grow as you do it.
Yeah.
He's like, that's how you learn, is you just jump into it and you just begin doing it.
Yeah.
And I think I was still so hesitant and so nervous, but between like Pastor Sean and Pastor Lisa and between like Patrick and Raquel and Hunter, like they just all had so much belief in me.
Yeah.
And even, this is so crazy, like my Nana who, her and my papa, they raised me, they were like, Timber, this is what we've been praying for.
Wow.
Like we had literally been praying for a part-time job where I could take my newborn baby at the time with me.
Yes.
And I was like,
That was when you're like,
okay.
oh yeah.
It
We
was
have been
literally
praying
like an
about that.
aha moment.
Yeah, you didn't have to choose between.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
and so it was just so crazy because at that time I actually had like another part-time job that I had interviewed for. And I remember after the interview, I was like, I'm going to be away from Shepherd so much. Like it just hurt my heart.
Yeah.
And it was like, after having just some conversations with like leaders and just like the elders and Pastor Sean and Lisa and Hunter, where I was like, Lord, this is you.
Yeah.
And so never a desire, pure opportunity that we just dove straight into.
Yeah.
And never looked back, haven't looked back. And honestly, it's been like the biggest blessing because I just think students are so underrated.
Yeah.
I
They're
mean,
so fun.
we were once students, and I think like being raised up in our faith here at Cornerstone and now getting to like watch our students like grow in their faith
Right.
is like the coolest thing ever. And I'm like not a crier, but every single time I talk about our students, I get so emotional. So yeah.
No. Well, I just think it's just so cool because you guys, I think that's why you guys are so good at what you guys do is because you've lived it.
Oh, thank you.
You've experienced Jesus. Yeah, there's tissues. You've experienced Jesus at youth ministry, and you're showing these kids how they can too.
Yeah.
And they could experience a life of with Jesus. And I bet it's such like for those kids, like seeing, okay, like all their dreams almost like, oh, you met a boy at youth, you got married, you had two kids, you know, like I just think it's just super cool. And so a lot of times, you know, when the Lord has a calling on our life or we get an opportunity to do something, the enemy tries so hard to say, no, that's not, tries to pull us away or tries, can put so many, thoughts in our heads that because God does say we are qualified. I mean, like we have the Word of God, we have Jesus, we have Holy Spirit living inside of us. And I just like admire how your hunger for the Word and just how you just go after it and you like know so much of the Word of God and have experienced so much. And so I just think it's so cool how you guys, you took that and you said no to those lies that the enemy was trying to put in your mind and said yes to what God has called you. And it's like better than what you've expected, right? Like,
oh my gosh, yeah. It's so
and I think it taught us too that very thing of like the importance of saying yes to the Lord.
Yeah.
It's something we talk to the youth all the time about.
Yeah.
Is like we didn't necessarily have this like moment where we felt like the Lord called us in a powerful way to youth ministry. I've called you to be a pastor. Like it was just like, here's the opportunity. It's yours if you want it.
Yeah.
And out of that, it was like, okay, this is you, Lord. But it's not I'm calling you. It's like come to me, come away with me. And saying yes to that, I think is actually what kind of inspired us the most out of it is like showing the students like you can go on a journey with the Lord. It doesn't have to be your life is going to look this and this way. It's like, no, the Lord wants to be alongside you as you live your life. And it doesn't matter if he's choosing stuff for you or you're choosing stuff. Is he with you?
Yeah,
Are you with him? Are you spending time with him? Are you saying yes to those little moments where he wants you to pray for somebody, where he wants you to speak to somebody? Are we saying yes to that stuff? Because that's the stuff that looks like Jesus, not the cool youth pastor who gets to preach on Sundays or Wednesdays. It's just about looking like Jesus and saying yes to that.
Yeah.
It's the most important.
That's so good. That's so good. Okay, so as being students in youth group, and what would you say, like what would you want to tell students who are, learning about Jesus and walking with Jesus? What would you tell them?
I would say just dive in. Like,
it's not as complicated or as mystical as you think it is.
Yeah. And not only that, it's like, don't wait for like the perfect time. Don't wait for like the goosebumps because it's like 9 times out of 10, you may not feel those goosebumps.
Yeah.
But
sometimes you have to use your faith to get the goosebumps.
Yeah.
You gotta okay, I'm gonna worship, I'm gonna pray, I'm gonna read until I feel your nearness,
Yeah, but it's like just dive in because like it never gets easier to start a relationship with the Lord, to know the Lord more. Like you're always gonna have an excuse, you're always gonna have something else that you could do. But it's kind of like Hunter said, just saying yes to those moments. Yeah. Like at the ripe age of 12, 13, 14, 15, all the way to 18, like saying yes to those moments of like each day, I'm going to choose to read my Bible. Like I'm going to choose to spend time in worship and prayer. Like that's what I would tell you. I mean, there's going to be nothing else more fulfilling than a relationship with the Lord. Yeah. Like there were so many times when I was in middle school and high school where I was searching. Yeah. I mean, even after I was saved, like I was still searching for something. I was searching to feel like loved in a way. And I was searching in all the wrong places, literally all the wrong places. I always had a boyfriend because I thought that that's like where the love would come from, right? But if only I knew that the only person who could give me like true love and fulfillment was the Lord, then I could have saved myself so much in middle school and in high school. And I look back and I just kind of giggle at myself. I'm like, oh, Timber, why didn't you say yes more times?
Yeah, because for me, that the same lesson would have been achieved if I had just listened to my parents. Because they were telling me the same thing. Like, fulfillment is in the Lord. Like, why do you keep trying to find it everywhere else?
Right.
Yeah, so it's like no matter what you go through as a...
You don't know me. You don't know my situation. Like, shut up. Yes, I do. I've been there.
Yeah, so it's like when you're 6th through 12th grade, you know, and you're trying, you know.
Right.
Just keep going.
Yeah.
Like, he will reveal himself to you.
Right.
Like, he really will.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know, it's so cool. And I think that's what we always try to tell, like, our youth is like, just give them it all. And sometimes we feel like we're pulling teeth, and sometimes we feel like we are, like, saying it until our faces turn red. Yeah. But, like, when you actually see your students begin doing that, it's like, wow, Lord.
Yeah. And then when they see, it's like, oh, there
all
is
I had to
life.
do was open my Bible.
Right. Yeah.
And just begin reading. So.
Yeah.
That is so cool. So this question just popped into my head. So, like, how do you see the youth ministry in like the next 3 to 5 years? Like, what would be your what is your greatest prayer for your students today?
I feel like we're going to say the same thing. Student-led.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100% student-led.
Yeah.
Like,
We're
just want to facilitate.
We're like,
that's good.
Your ideas, let's do it. How can we help you?
Yeah, which I think is really cool because we're actually starting to see already.
That's so cool.
We're at a point where a worship team finally where it started out with just me and acoustic.
Literally
and
just
it was
Hunter.
painful, and I hated every second of
And
it.
I was preaching to like 7 students. And I was like...
But now I don't even have to be up there.
Wow.
And they're leading
Yeah.
worship. And it's not just leading songs. They're leading worship.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just... We just want to be a student-led youth where our students are so on fire for the Lord that they can lead service. They can lead worship. They can preach a message. They can do small groups.
Right.
We have new students come in, and it's like they're getting them connected. Obviously, we want to be a part. We want to still love our students. We still want to, like, preach and worship with them. But, like, we want to see them just, like, lead the way that we know that they can lead.
Right.
And it's just been like a full circle moment almost because even our staff has been praying for a youth worship team.
Yeah.
For like ever. Every week they'd be like, what do you need? Worship team.
Yeah.
We need people on the worship team.
People.
Yeah.
And just to kind of see that come to like fruition has been Hunter's
Really
crying
rewarding.
because he's like desperately
It's
been
been
praying
painful.
for it.
Oh, yeah.
But to even see like students begin speaking, for me, I'm like, wow. Because at one moment I was like, I can't teach a kid how to preach.
Right.
I don't know how to do that. And then to see like students
But you're so good at it.
Well,
yeah, you are.
I've got work. But thank you, baby. But just to like see our students begin to speak is like, it's like a proud mother moment. I literally feel like I have 30 kids.
Wow.
And we tell them that all the time. We're like, we know we're super young, but you feel like you're ours. Only on Wednesdays and Sundays. On the rest of the days, go back home.
Yeah.
No, just
Well,
kidding.
they're always over at our house.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
are. But, just student-led.
Yeah, that is so cool. I was talking to somebody yesterday and they were telling me that they're preaching in October and I'm like, that's so cool.
Yeah.
So I'm like, do you want to preach on kids ministry?
Honestly.
So I'm like taking
They
yours.
really could. They're just incredible.
Yeah. It's just so cool to see like how God is using this next generation. This next generation is like so cool.
Yeah, they
Like,
really are.
They're so different. They're like Gen Z is just like, and you're Gen Z
I
too.
actually am
Technically,
Gen Z.
Hunter is
Yeah,
too.
I'm like right on the line.
Like
but
right
yeah.
on the line. And so it's just really cool to see this generation. They just love Jesus so much.
They do.
It is just like
And
so
they're
cool.
such like natural born leaders.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I feel like in a way, I'm like, do I even need to teach you much? Because they're just like rising to the occasion.
Yeah,
Like
and
we
when
ask
you give
them
them
to,
opportunity, they'll
they
They'll just
run with it.
Oh, I love
They're really
that.
good at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just love them. And it's really funny just to look back when we had 7 to 10 students each week.
Yeah. Yeah.
We were like, why
We
did
were
we
like-
say yes?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're like,
Like,
do you
this is-
guys love the Lord?
Yeah.
Because we really didn't know then.
And
Yeah.
while I'm leading worship,
And COVID,
like, Lord, do I
too.
really
Yeah,
love you? Why is
that
this not
didn't help.
working?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for a while we were like, oh my gosh, nothing is working.
Right. Yeah, because that was like big from when you guys were serving in youth and then COVID happened.
Yeah.
So then that was like
Yeah.
completely different. You guys kind
Yeah,
of
we
started.
lost a lot of youth.
Yeah,
But-
started from the ground up.
Our youth, like, so when I was in youth, I tell our students this all the time. I'm like, when I was in youth, it was not like this. I'm like, it was so much different.
Yeah.
Everything about it was different.
So like
Yeah.
we had to completely even change like our perspective, which was
Yeah.
kind of like a hard thing to do because we were so used to doing it this way
Yeah.
that having to like completely change it to how we're doing it now.
Yeah.
Because like our students are different. That's the thing. Like they're not, I'm Gen Z. And when I was in youth group, like the people that were also in youth group with me, they're not like this Gen Z.
Right.
Like,
yeah, it's different.
and so like what worked then doesn't work now.
Right,
And that
right.
was just kind of hard
post-COVID
for
too,
us.
It's
Yeah.
changed a lot.
We were like, okay, what now? Like, what do we do now? And it was honestly just like a lot of trial and error.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah.
But also we've just got, like we said, we keep saying our students are amazing, but they
Yeah,
really
well,
are.
and now that they're coming up with ideas for stuff, their ideas work way better than
Yeah,
our ideas.
That's amazing.
Which is fun because we've always said, we just want to do what you guys want to do. So just tell us,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Just tell
what
us.
do you want? It's-
Yeah.
Sometimes they're like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And
We're
that's
like,
okay.
we
but
don't
then
either.
Right.
The students who are like, oh, we should try this. We should do this.
We
should
do
that."
it, and it's
Bring
like,
it on.
boom.
Give us
Wow.
ideas. We need them.
Yeah, like just
Wow.
recently, we've always wanted to like facilitate just like worship where you just really encounter the Lord,
Yeah.
where you can jump, you can dance, you
Right.
can walk around, you know, like we wanted our students to get into it. And we
Yeah.
kept questioning, we're like, why are they not into worship? Like, what are we doing wrong? We've got our students up there leading, they're still not like excited. They were just like this. And I'm like, maybe that's just how they worship.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right? But one of our students was like, hey, we should take away the chairs. And we were like, okay, let's do it next week. Literally the following week, we took away the chairs. And it's like a whole 180.
whoa.
And we were like, so this is what we needed
Wow.
to do.
They just need some space.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like that's what it's like now. It's like our
Right.
students say, hey, let's try this. And obviously we're like careful. I mean, we're not just gonna do what every student says,
Right.
but we're still in charge here.
We should
yeah.
do that one rap song.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Maybe not.
Yeah, but yeah, we just love it.
That is so
Student led,
cool.
100%.
Yeah, I
be
love
cool.
that. That is so cool. Okay, so like, let's say a student is listening, one of our viewers here. Just kind of take us into what youth ministry is on Wednesday nights. Kind of
Yeah.
just like share what you guys do, why they should come, things like that.
Well, so when you walk through the doors, I guess
You're greeted
it's
with a smile.
greeted with a smile.
By Birdie and Timber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Kelly Fielder.
Yeah.
We love you, Kelly.
Yes, she's awesome.
Yeah, they're the best.
Yeah, so you walk through the doors and we just
At
have
7.
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock on Wednesdays.
It's just pre-service. So we're just hanging out. We've got music going, playing games,
We're just kind of like greeting everybody.
yeah, we're
saying
just-
hi. How was your week?
getting them in the door.
Yeah.
And whatever they walked in with, we're like, shake it off. We're
Yeah.
going upstairs and we're going to worship.
Yeah,
Just shake it
there
off.
you go.
And then around like 7:15 is like when we typically start service. Go upstairs and we do worship. It's like 20 minutes long. Sometimes it goes longer, just depends on like how the Lord moves. And then we always have a message. So we'll do worship, a message, and then this is just like a typical Wednesday night. And then we'll go back downstairs and have more just like post-service hangouts.
Yeah.
But I will say we are going to be starting something soon. We're planning for October where we're actually getting, we're calling it, we're having CY mentors.
Oh, cool.
So we're having like some students like lead. It's kind of like a micro group in a way because it's smaller groups and small groups.
Yeah, okay.
And so in the future, it'll be like worship every week. We'll always have worship. But then you'll go with your CY mentor, and some weeks, like, they may be preaching, which will be super cool because it's like, student-led even more.
Right.
Some weeks they may just break out and like pray or prophesy over their group, with their group. Some weeks they may just do like discussions and like just hang out and talk about life or whatever. So that's coming up in October.
Yay, that's so cool.
But and then like some weeks and nights, we have like events where we do like giveaways and games, and food. We've got some really incredible people who like always provide great food.
And love doing it.
But we encourage you to come. Like if you're watching this and you're in 6th or 12th grade, like we encourage you to come because you need community. And this is where we want to meet you. We want to meet you. We want to hang out with you outside of a Wednesday too.
Right.
But like this is where you're going to find your people, honestly. Like we've seen so many friendships develop out of this. For
us.
Well, this is a relationship.
A marriage.
We're also friends, though.
Yeah, we are.
That's
but,
important.
like, come because we all need community.
Right.
And, I mean, that's the bottom line. Like, you don't want to do life alone, and we want to do life with you.
Right.
No, and getting to run after God with your friends there's nothing more rewarding.
Yeah.
You know, when I first got saved and I had, like, immediate friends that I could just like lean on and like cry with, laugh with, and really ask the hard questions and deal with the hard stuff that you just deal with in life. And have somebody there who's willing to listen and also point you towards God and say like, well, let's look at the Word. I mean, you need people like that in your life.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, that's so good. That's so good. So it's Wednesdays, 7 p.m. every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday.
Instagram is a great way to find out more about events, right?
Yes.
And what you guys are doing. But Timber and Hunter are just so amazing. So if you haven't...
You're amazing.
No, you guys are amazing. Like, honestly, all the things that you're saying, I'm like, man, she's Superwoman over here. She's like
I'm not.
raising children. You guys are raising children. You guys are planning all these events.
We've got a great community here.
You guys literally, like I said the first one, you guys always have people at your house and like you students at your house, and they love you guys so much. It's just like so cool. Like you guys truly do life with your youth students and with your community. And
But that's what we were shown.
Yeah, that's
like,
so cool.
Our leaders did that.
Yeah.
The stories we hear from Pastor Sean and Lisa, like they did that.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's like the biggest encouragement to us is like.
I mean, I hung out with Patrick and Raquel every day.
Yeah, you did. But like.
We'd work out and eat dinner and talk about stuff. And talk about
but
you.
like Pastor Lisa, she always is like, oh, I always brought Julia.
Yeah.
I'm like, you brought her where?
Yeah, metal concerts. Like, honestly, I got earplugs.
And then there was even, she even said, she's like, one time we sent our youth on the search for her around the building.
Yeah.
Because there were like 200 youth here. And so it's like that is what was modeled to us. And that's why we do it. Because like they make it like a normal. Yeah. And we've been so blessed by that.
Yeah.
Like we're just so blessed to have pastors like them who tell us, bring your kids.
Yeah. It's so
do it with
cool.
Your family.
It's so important to, with your kids to do. I mean, we'll talk about this more when we talk about kids ministry too, but like even with you students, like bringing them into your devotions, bringing them into your quiet time, bringing them into, like let's go tell this person about Jesus, or let's go, serve here at the church, I think it's just so important. So it's really cool. Really cool. Well, we love you guys. We are so thankful for you guys. And so if you're a student, again, come Wednesday nights, 7 p.m. at Cornerstone Church, and it will be great. So thank you so much for listening or watching this podcast. We will have a lot more soon. Thank you for listening to the Cornerstone Life podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, we would love to meet you. Join us any Sunday at 10 a.m. at Cornerstone Church in Blue Springs. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, and share. See you next time.